So, welcome everybody. So, go ahead and put both your hands on your heart. Yeah, the earrings are good, huh? Bring both hands on your heart. And if you can put your feet flat on the ground, go ahead and do that. If you can't, it's fine. Good. I'm just going to connect for a moment and just feel the last moon cycle or about the last month. So, the moon cycles are 29 and a half days. We just went through our Taurus moon cycle, and now we're stepping into Gemini. And so just review your last month. It's a great way for us to catch up with ourselves, to take a pause to integrate. What happened in the last moon cycle? What were you working towards? What were you settling into? What were you releasing? So just let yourself sit and settle and get curious about your last moon cycle. What the temperature or the setting or the energy was of that last moon cycle. What you're learning, what you're stepping into, what you're releasing. And imagine now that you can gather the gifts, the pearls, what you learned from the last moon cycle. And you may know exactly what those are. You may not know exactly what they are. And by using this visualization, you can go collect the energy. So imagine that you're have a little basket, that you're going back over the last month, and that you're picking up. It might be pearls, it might be little flowers, it might be jelly beans, it might be little stones, it could be anything. But that you're picking up with the intent that you're gathering the lessons and the energy to bring with you going forward. And that anything that's not yours to carry, you might be taking some things out of the basket to leave behind. Imagine yourself gathering the gifts, the pearls, the lessons over the last month, putting them in your basket with gratitude. Noticing if there's anything that you want to take out of the basket that's not yours to carry, go ahead and do that. Beautiful. And imagine now that you're turning to face the present. So we were going back into the past. You're going to turn and face the present and take a step forward and let go of any intent or anything you were carrying from the last moon cycle that you carry forward. So take a step really consciously to release, to let go of what's not yours to carry. And we're stepping together now into this new moon cycle to plant new seeds. So imagine you can take that basket of the gifts from the last moon cycle and bring them into your heart. You can imagine letting all of those gifts dissolve into your heart. So you're more resourced and present and integrated as we step into the new cycle. Beautiful. And then let's put ourselves in relationship with the cycles of the sun and the moon and the earth. And so we're at the new moon planting time to plant seeds. So between now and the full moon, energy is growing and it's a time to feed, nourish, expand, whatever your intent or your desires are. In relationship to the sun cycle, so that's that small moon cycle, in relationship to that larger sun cycle, we are moving towards, we're very close to summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, longest day, shortest night. So just feel that we're moving towards summer now in the northern hemisphere, and that On June 20th, and actually June 21st, so the day after the solstice I believe is on the 20th this year. On the day after the solstice, we're actually shifting into the next half of the year, which is around less light. So between summer solstice and winter solstice is the cycle of starting to release and let go. Honoring, imagine that there's the circle of the moon, and the moon so affects us. If you think about the oceans and how much water we have in our body, that the moon deeply affects us. So we come together to honor this new moon, this time to plant seeds. And we also open to that larger circle of the sun in relationship to the earth, that we are tilting towards the sun. But actually, at the solstice, we're going to start tilting away from the sun as we move towards winter in the northern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere will be going from winter solstice in June to summer solstice in December, exact opposite of us. And then feel, where are you in your cycle in your life? Are you in a growth phase right now? Are you in a release phase right now? Are you cleaning and clearing things up? Are you building something new? So honor your own personal cycle at this time. Honoring your personal cycle, where you are now. And I always say this, loves, don't try to make your cycle match anything or anyone else's cycle. You might be in a death cycle right now. You might be releasing some big things. Be in relationship to your cycle, and that it can also be complicated. Perhaps in your home life, you're in a big cleaning and purging, and in your work life, you're shutting things down in a different way. So just honor where you are in your cycle. Beautiful. And then opening to, what seed do you want to plant for this new moon? Where do you want to put your intent or your energy? What seed do you want to plant for this new moon? I always find it helpful to have a one word, a quality that we're working towards. That's the seed that we're going to plant. So, what's your intent for this moon cycle? And if you have a larger intent for the year, you can name what that larger intent is for the year, and then your new moon intents are going to tuck under that. They help give us guidance and direction in a shorter period of time. So, in a way, they're course correctors, as I like to think about them. What's your intent for this new moon? Beautiful. And then imagine that you're holding that intent in your hands. It's a little seed, and that you're gonna hold your intent in your hands and connect your heart, your gratitude, your presence to this intent. Good. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and share in the chat what your intent is, so we can all hold your intent. So go ahead and share in the chat what your intent is. And we're gonna do something fun with our seeds this time. And for those of you that are watching the recording later, you can write down what your intent is. That's one way to just connect with the group and to name and claim your intent. Write it on a piece of paper. For those of you that are watching live, you can also do the same thing. Write it on a piece of paper. So Bethany shares balance. Good. Anybody else want to share? Go ahead and pop something into the chat. And if you want to share on camera, I'm pretty sure I can invite people in. That's fun. Stack, trust me, beautiful. So intent is around trust. Great. My intent is around clear agreements, making clear agreements. Good. Anybody else want to share? Okay, so there's something that we can do when we garden. Stack. I thought you were, so it said trust me. I was thinking trust the divine. Just trust. Yeah, I love it. Laura Goodman, showing up with full integrity. Beautiful. I'm glad you're here, sweetheart. Good. And welcome to Celeste, joined us, and Shanae, Gianna, Nina. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad that you're here. Wonderful. Okay, so when we garden, there's something really, really magic that you can do, which is whenever you plant a seed. So if you have tomato seeds you're going to plant or flower seeds, you actually take the seeds and put them in your mouth first and just put them in your mouth for a minute and let your saliva and the information of your body go into the seed, and then you plant the seeds. And the belief is that your DNA and the DNA of the plant talk, and the plant then knows what nutrients to give you and what you need. I love this. And so imagine that your intent is a seed that you're going to plant. And let's go ahead and put that intent, that imaginary seed, and you can do this with a little pebble if you want, or a literal seed. Put it in your mouth. So imagine that putting that seed in your mouth. And that part of you putting that seed in your mouth is your commitment that I will tend this seed, that we're in relation now, that there's kinship happening. And so when you put that imaginary seed of your intent in your mouth, you're making a commitment to tend it, to show up. And that seed is also making a commitment to help tend you, that it's reciprocal. So imagine putting it in their mouth, and we'll just sit for a moment in silence to feel that seed. Good. And then imagine that you take that seed out of your mouth now and visualize, and you can physically do this again later, planting it into the earth. So you can imagine this beautiful soil, and you're going to plant that seed into the soil. Call in the new moon energy to help it grow. And then what are you going to water it with? So imagine that you have a bowl or a cup or a, a crystal jar of water, and that you're going to intentionally water that seed. I'm going to use this oil in my mind's eye, but I'm also physically have this oil. So I'm going to, because I have it, I'm going to put it in my hands. And then imagine putting it down into the earth. So really blessing that seed. So watering that seed that you've planted in the earth, that we've planted in this new moon, with gratitude. What are you committing to? So committing to tend this seed, what does that mean? So just feel, what are your action steps? What are you going to move in the world to help manifest this intent? So whenever we set intent, there's a level of surrender, of letting it be in the earth. Right? We're planting it into the earth. We're not going to dig it up and check on it. We're going to plant it. We also need to water it and make sure it's getting enough sunshine. So there's that tending quality as well. So feel your commitment to tend, knowing that it will feed you, and your willingness to take action, to listen and take action. Beautiful. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes, and over your new moon, you can imagine putting flowers on that seed, or going back and watering it, or connecting to the moon and bringing the moon energy down. So keep playing with the visual. The visual is so powerful. Our imagination is so powerful of creating manifestation and energy pathways for us to walk. And so as we plant the seed for the new moon, we want to remember that now we do two things. We do many things, but the two main things is we surrender it up. We don't hold on and keep digging it up, or like deciding what it's going to look like and how it's going to grow. There's a level of now trust that we want to release into being with what arises, what is happening, and how is this related to our intent, or how is this helping us clear things out of our way toward our intent. And that we're going to continue to surrender and open and trust and call in that new moon energy. And the second thing that we're going to do is listen for what's our action to take. Listen for what's our action to take. We've set an intent, and now we want to walk the line of that energetic intent, listening for what is ours to do, letting go of what's not ours to do, claiming what is ours to do, so that we are taking action in the world in ceremonial ways, in ritual ways, in very mundane ways. Okay. So, if anybody wants to share, or if you want to write down for yourself, wish I could have you smell this oil because it's so yummy. So, I'm sharing it with you. So, if anybody wants to share one or two action steps that you're going to take, you're welcome to do that, or to write it down. That we want to follow up this new moon energy, to use it to take action in the world. Whether that action is slowing down, that might be your action. Your action might be getting still. Your action might be doing something that you've been putting off for a long time. So feel into what is your action to do that will support and nourish that seed of your intent. And in a moment, I'll just open it up for any shares. In a moment, we'll do another way of holding these two energies of surrender and action. Laura, it is not rose oil. We haven't figured out what it is. Caitlin made it for me. So we think it's cedar and sandalwood. It's yummy. Yeah. And stack. My action step is to get back to my morning practice. Great. Beautiful. Great. And Laura, walk in my truth by being there for others. Wonderful. Good. That presence. And there's something fun that you can do if you would like around working with the moon cycle, is to create a beaded necklace, or to even take a string and tie knots in it every day that you're taking your action, so that you're praying into that string. Okay, so beads are incredibly old. Prayer beads are incredibly old, and they're found throughout all different cultures. They're found in Islam, in Christianity, in Judaism. There's prayer beads are in Hinduism. And so we can play with using beads to mark time. So maybe create a necklace that has, or a bracelet that has 29 beads that you can mark every day of the moon cycle. Or maybe it's half of that. Maybe it's between now and the full moon that you're going to mark. Or again, take a string and just tie a knot, or make a mark on a piece of paper over the next moon cycle. So there's this beautiful feedback system when we do something physical to mark time that can help us to stay steady. You know, another beautiful practice that I've done before, which I really love, is to have two bowls, and to have 29 of something, or 30 of something, however you want to do it, or 28 of something in one bowl, and then the other bowl is empty. And that every day you take one thing out of the bowl and put it in the other bowl, and that's marking time. I did this, I took my action today, or I'm using this for my evening ritual to integrate the day. And then eventually all of the items, whether they're little crystals or jelly beans or pebbles or whatever they are in this other bowl. And then there's something really sweet. You can also halfway through put both of them under the moonlight. So in 2-ish weeks, we're going to be at a full moon. So you could then bless the two bowls and then finish moving them over the next 14-ish days. So, Bethany, my cat sniffed my tablet when you held up your hands. I love that. My action will be to add a joyful activity to my agenda each day and not sacrifice it for others. I love that. Beautiful. Yes, beautiful. Good, good. So be creative in your ceremony and how you want to mark the time for yourself in a way that feels sacred, that feels integrating. Our days are moving so, so, so quickly that it can be challenging to integrate all the things that are going on. And this, since this moon cycle is around Gemini and the qualities that often go with Gemini around communication, connection, clarity, really showing up. The invitation for this month as well, as we're planting these personal seeds, is to get clearer and cleaner in our communication with ourselves. And to know that there's different parts of us talking. So there's our judge, there's the part of us that feels victimized, there's the part of us that is scared. And so to honor the different facets of ourself. I'm here at Warrior Heart Ranch, and we've been working with masks and how masks help us see different parts of ourself without taking them so seriously and believing it's us. So we're doing a really beautiful practice right now around talking in a mirror, putting a mask on and talking in a mirror as that mask, whatever it is, as that part of ourself, as that experience, and then being able to take the mask off, put another mask on, talk from a different part of ourself. And so just that reminder, Gemini is the twins and there's many faces. And so all of us have complexities. We have different aspects of ourselves. We have aspects of ourselves that are maybe very confident and settled and feel solid at a particular place in work, let's say, or in a relationship, and other parts of ourselves that feel very young and scared and unsure. And so owning and honoring all of those different voices without giving any of them, none of them get to lead. Your witness gets to witness from the center. I think we want to get more and more centered so that we're witnessing these different aspects and voices, getting clear about who's talking. And you don't have to meet all their needs. You're not going to meet all of your own needs. You can't meet everybody else's needs, right? It's not about that. It's about being in relationship with, being relational. And in that relationality, improving communication with yourself and with others. When we clean up the communication with ourselves, we get clearer about how we talk to ourselves in ways that are supportive rather than tearing us down. And many of us have very well-defined negative inner dialogue, judgy, critical comparison voices. And as we clean that up, we get more loving with ourselves. We also get more fierce, and fierce in holding ourselves accountable in a good way. Warrior responsibility. And we become more responsible to ourselves and our actions and understand that all of our actions have consequences. We can speak the truth to ourselves. And that then radiates out to others and how we communicate. As we clean up the relationship with ourselves, it's going to help clean up our relationships with others as well. It takes time. And this is an incredible, helpful time to be doing that work of cleaning up your communication with yourself. And then looking at, are there any places where your communication is not clear with others? Being in community. Yeah. So, last thing I want to share is I pulled a book off the I did a little bit of a divination process this morning around our new moon, and I pulled this book off of the shelf. It is called No One is Self-Made. Build Your Village to Flourish in Business and Life. So, I'm just going to do a divination, open to a paragraph and read it for us to see what Spirit has to say to us. Good, Bethany. I'm full of possibly good ideas. I'm taking consistent action that I'm working on health issues, thus the balance. Beautiful. Good work, love. All right, here we go. Again, I just opened to a paragraph. We'll just see what this book and what the Spirit has for us. And this is by Lakeisha Hallman. Build Your Village to Flourish in Business and Life. A growth mindset is the opposite of a fixed mindset. With the latter, you believe sex is reliant on an innate talent that you either have or you don't, period. No learning possible. But believing that some people are just naturally successful and belong while others aren't and don't belong disempowers you. It steals your confidence, negates your hard work, and shuts down your progress. No one has mastered everything. No one is perfect all the time. Anyone who says otherwise is pretending, or they've unlocked all the secrets of the universe. A growth mindset accepts that blunders and pivots are part of the journey, and that as long as we are doing our best, committed to the challenge, and collaborating with others, we do belong. Of course, no one is meant to have a 100% growth mindset. Experts say we are actually a mix of both mindsets because, yes, people do in fact have innate talents, but companies that promote a growth mindset in their employees and organizers report a work culture that is more collaborative and innovative, and employees who are more committed and empowered. So that's our little love note from the universe today. Thanks so much for joining me today for this new moon talk and ceremony. And please continue to take more ceremony into your life in how you interact with everything. And as part of Ash and Rose Spiritual Collective, we have every Friday, Mary is doing healing Fridays and doing some really wonderful things. Next week, she's talking about mysticism. We are also offering her new tarot course, which starts in July. So please check that out. It's on the website now. Leah and I will be doing a silent retreat up at Warrior Heart Ranch September 4th through the 7th. So that's over Labor Day. So please look into that if you want to come join us up here. And I will also be doing the next gathering that I'm doing on Substack Live is the prayer circle on June 29th. I'll be tuning in from Mexico. Yes. Nice. I love that stuff. All right, dear one. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I am so grateful for technology that we get to connect in this way, and gratitude to each of you. Have a blessed day. Happy new moon. Bye, sweethearts.